Hi and welcome to the Cozy Chaos podcast. I am your host, Leah, and today we are going to talk about cringe culture because, oh my god, this idea came to me like yesterday night and I was like shocked at the way I never thought of ever doing something like that because I thought people were smarter than that, but obviously they are not. So we're going to talk about cringe. I have my notes sitting right there and let's go with the chaos of the week. This chaos of the week is very fitting with today's topic, which is cringe culture, because I tend to do jokes to people. Like, I'm not very funny. I am funny to myself, but maybe it's not funny for others, and most of the time people don't really understand my jokes because I am very sarcastic. I tend to be very dramatic on things, and to me it's funny, but some people don't find it funny and some people don't understand it, so it can lead to very embarrassing situations where I'm laughing my ass off and people are just not understanding what's happening, and some people find it cringe. And I thought that it would fit today's topic because I did that like a few days ago and my sister called this cringe, and I remember that when I was writing my notes and I was like, this has to be the cozy chaos of the week. My question is, why is everything cringe? Why do we call everything cringe? I think the internet has an issue with people having fun because anything you do will be called cringe, especially if it is associated with Asian culture, I feel like a lot, because I started my K-pop listening phase when I was in middle school and it was not very well welcomed by people. It was called cringe, like, oh, those gay boys that are just dancing and singing, so cringe, why are you listening to that? And I was just unfazed and didn't really quite understand what cringe meant, because to them it was something that was bad, I feel like. But most of the stuff I did, they called cringe, like writing wattpad stories or just having little obsessions with characters on certain films. I'm thinking about Newt from The Maze Runner, which was my obsession when I was also listening to K-pop and in my wattpad writing era. But realistically, internet calls everything cringe and it's pissing me off, and I wanted to make a podcast video to complain about it. In my opinion, cringe culture is just rotting our brains. Some people, and I can think about precise people that I know personally, are literally filtering themselves down and not acting the way they want to because they are afraid of being called cringe. They are literally shutting down their whole personality in order to just fit in the standard, fit in the trends and what's cool at the moment. They don't really find it cool that much what they're doing. It's just like they don't want to be called cringe. So it's very sad to me that you cannot be yourself because you are afraid of being cringe. Like, this shouldn't be this way. It also kills creativity in various ways because people are just afraid of being called cringe or embarrassing or anything that's along the lines of cringe. It's like people are afraid to make a certain type of art because, oh my god, manga art, it's so 2020 vibes. It's like cringe to do that in 2025. No, like, girl, just it's literally pissing me off. I hate the way cringe has become such a normal word in our brains. It's like, it's normal, but it's not normal. This is an internet word. And it's so sad that some people just stop expressing themselves because of the fear of being cringe, when really being cringe it's not a bad thing. It's just you being yourself. And people find it cringe. But what even is cringe? It's nothing. You are finding it cringe. That's your opinion. It has nothing to do with the people that are doing these things, you know? Something I find really ironic is sometimes, and most of the time actually, the people who are calling something cringe are usually more obsessed or just as obsessed as the fans they mock. At the very start of my K-pop era, I was very bullied in some ways because of my liking for K-pop, and some people were on hate accounts of K-pop literally created and dedicated a whole lot of time into creating K-pop hate accounts and looking at K-pop videos and finding each and everything that they find cringe to laugh about it on the internet. And it's like, dude, you are even more obsessed than me because you are watching each and every video of BTS multiple times to find every element that is cringe in order to mock them, but really, you're just making them money. Like, it's not that deep. Just get over it. You find it cringe, you don't have to listen to it, you don't have to look at their videos. You are obsessed. You are a fan. And you may wonder who decides what is cringe and what is not. The word cringe is completely and ultimately subjective. Nobody is the king or queen of cringe, like the person who decides what is cringe and what is not. Everybody can call anything cringe, and anybody can call anything not cringe. It depends on the person, it depends on the topic, and it is very, very subjective. For example, trends that were very seen as cringe 5 years ago, like I'm thinking Y2K fashion, liking Twilight, Crocs, even liking K-pop, I think is becoming very more common these days. It's like it was cringe 5 years ago and now we are completely fine with it. It became uncringe because it's trendy now. See how it doesn't make any sense? It cannot go from very cringe, nobody wants to listen to that, to this is the top of anything that's possible in 5 years. It has always been cool, it has always been fine, just people were finding it cringe in 2020 because they needed something to hate on, and now they're hating on the things they liked in 2020. That doesn't make any sense. And something that I find also very funny is everyone has something they love that could be considered as cringe. Anything actually you love can be depicted as cringe by some people. And it's kind of sad to see that this is what the world has come to. Like, this is the peak of the human evolution. Like, what do you mean? We are the most evoluted we have ever been, and you are busy hating on someone loving Twilight. Get your shit together, man. My way of seeing this is we should just embrace the cringe, aka live our life. It's freeing not to care if anything is cringe. It's freeing to be happy, to just live your life without a care of if people think that what you are doing is cringe. I do a bunch of things that could be and are considered as cringe, such as making videos on YouTube, making a podcast, listening to K-pop, writing stories, writing poetry, sometimes reading can be seen as cringe. All of these are things that can be seen as cringe, but actually I don't care because I'm doing it because it makes me happy. If you are hating on it, I do not give a shit, I do not care. You do you, I do me. I think you should not care that much. If you are hating on something, I think you care way too much to hate the thing. There is a thin line between love and hate. To summarize everything I just said about cringe culture, I just think cringe is just another word for joy. And that is kind of sad that some people see it as something that is very negative, pejorative. I want people to remember that it doesn't matter if you see it as cringe. It isn't cringe until you make it to be cringe, you know? Until you say it's cringe, it was not. See you next Monday for another episode.